Welcome, 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 guys, to Coffee with Clients. It's Friday. Hey, today is going to be really fun. So today we're going to be talking about element 14. This is the question. Okay, I know I already told you to put a couple things in the chat, but I would just like to know on here. So let's put a 2 in the chat if you are in the phase 2 of the plan and you're in maintenance transition. I just want to see what the percentage is. So I'm going to give that a minute to see if there's anybody in that. Okay, so there we have a few. Congratulations, guys. Well done. Okay, so for the rest of us, that we're going to be heading there, right? That's where we're going. And one of the questions I get so many times from my clients, and I'm sure we're all clients on here, I'm sure that you have these same questions, is this: what happens after I reach my goal weight? How do I not gain my weight back? I say this: listen, I coach a transformation system. So my goal is not only to get the weight off of you, but to change your mindset so that we never gain this weight back, right? We don't want to keep going back and forth. We want to really teach you that. And today in element 14, I hope you all have your life books, your habits of health book, but we're going to be in element 14, which is on page 264 in your life, not your life book, and yeah, your life book is. And so we're going to turn to that. And of course, as my co-host today, because I just get the privilege of hosting, but the teacher that's coming on today, the co-host, is none other than the Cassandra Reagan, who does such a great job. And she is excellent. I'm going to tell you something right now. I already heard her teach on this before. You are in for a treat. So get your pen and paper out, or better yet, just put everything down and put on your listening ears and then go back and watch the recording, because that's really how you're going to really learn it, right? So Cassandra, without further ado, will you come on and walk us through transitioning to eating healthy for life?
All right. So you guys, transition is such an exciting time. And some people, they had 8 to 15 pounds to lose, so they weren't in phase 1 very long. Some of us maybe had 100 pounds to lose, 200 pounds to lose. So we were in phase 1 for a long time. I have lost over 115 pounds in my total journey. It was a journey. All right. It took some time. So if you've been on the 5 and 1, 4 and 2, whatever, for some time, the approaching transition may actually put a little fear in your heart, right? Because what have you done? Well, you have implemented the habit of the 5 and 1. And during this transition, you're going to be adding more foods in, more whole foods, and more calories in. Well, the 5 and 1 is easy, right? You don't have to think about it. Well, some people are excited about all the extra food they're going to get, but some people, and this is what I get a lot, I'm so nervous. I'm scared. Oh gosh, what if it all falls apart, right? Well, you know what? You can trust Dr. A with the 5 and 1, 4 and 2, whatever weight loss plan that you were on. You can trust him. His system works. Guess what? You can trust him with transition too. If you do his system the way he has laid it out, which is very flexible, by the way, you're going to be fine. Especially if you let your mindset shift from a diet to a lifestyle. If you let your mindset shift that during phase 1, this is all about the habits, I'm doing this forever. If you let your mindset shift that low glycemic is the way I'm going to live for the rest of my life, then when you transition, it's just the next natural step in your journey. Okay. So there's no need to be afraid. There's lots of reason to be excited. Okay. So at the beginning of element 14, this is what he says: transitioning to eating healthy for life. 3 things. We're going to learn how to transition from phase 1 to phase 2. Because remember, there's 5 phases, right? We thought losing weight was the whole enchilada. No, it's just the first phase. We're going to go, well, overweight is the original phase, right? To phase 1, which is weight loss, phase 2, which is healthy weight, phase 3, which is optimization, and phase 4, which is longevity. Okay. Now, some of y'all are like, I can't think of those other phases. I'm in phase 1. That's fine. You just focus on your habits. It's okay. Okay. But that's where we're moving. And guess what? Once you get to your healthy weight, we are not done transforming who you are. It's going to keep going. All right. So that was one. Number two, we're going to create a transition plan that works for you because transition can be different for everyone. Okay. And three, we're going to empower yourself to make choices that will support long-term weight management and help you generate optimal health. Now, the big question is, and this is what all my clients want to know, how do you know when you're ready to transition? Let me tell you a little story. Okay. I was 265 pounds at one point, had bariatric surgery. It failed. I regained half, found Optavia, changed my life, by the way, which is why I'm sharing this gift. But 150 was my goal weight. I never hit my goal weight with bariatric surgery, by the way. So when I was getting to 150, that was my goal weight. I was so excited to transition. I thought 150 was my goal weight, okay? Because you're gonna reevaluate as you go through this journey. I got to 150, began to transition, and next week we're gonna take you through the different weeks of transition, right? Started adding in more fruit, started doing different things, and guess what? My weight shifted up to about 152, 153. Can I tell you, this girl was not happy because 150 was my goal weight, right? So what I learned was, for me, 150 meant I was not going to be over 150. So in this process, what I've learned, I have to get to 145. And then as I transition and I add in more starchy vegetables, more whole grains, more fruit, and sugars and carbs are reintroduced, more sugars and carbs are reintroduced to my system, what am I going to do? I am going to replenish those glycogen stores that you detox through in the first 3 days of your plan. Remember those 3 days? Remember what we tell you, that you're going to burn through your glycogen stores really fast and you're going to be releasing a lot of water. Well, guess what? When you start transitioning, you're going to replenish some of those stores and your weight is going to shift about 2 to 3 pounds. If you are okay with that, then go for it. Get to your goal weight, transition, and you're going to hover about 2 to 3 pounds above that. If you're like me and you're like, no way, then do the buffer, do about 5 pounds below what your goal weight is. When you transition, your goal weight may shift, and then you're going to hover in what I call my happy weight. That is my happy weight, okay? And then when you kind of gravitate towards that top weight, you know, okay, let me reduce some of my starches a little bit. Okay? So that's how you know. 1, 2. Now, Dr. A is pretty clear on this. He says when your BMI for women is less than 25, or men and women is less than 25, okay? That's the top. For me, 160 was 26, 159.4 was right there where I needed to be on 25. Obviously, I got well below that. Waist circumference. For men, it's less than 37 inches. For women, it's less than 31.5. Now, I'm an apple shape, so I was like 15 pounds below the BMI, well into healthy BMI, but my waist still was hovering at 32. Okay, so, and there's scientific reasons that have proven that the BMI and the waist circumference, if they're below those numbers, drastically reduces your risk for disease. Drastically reduces it. So yeah, and then of course, body fat percentage, but not a lot of us have access to really super accurate tools. Y'all, those smart scales aren't super accurate. You can use them, whatever, but it's about 18% for men and 25% for women. That's body fat percentage. Now you can go pay the money and have it done, right? So when you actually decide to stop losing weight and start transitioning is your choice. It's your health journey, okay? So if you've reached that magical number that fills your heart with joy, okay, it's really beneficial to reach those BMI and waist circumference numbers. It's still your journey. This is the other thing. I have some clients who have been on this plan a really long time. They've lost 100, 150 pounds. You reach a point where you get weary sometimes. and I see a pattern where they're starting to fade a little bit, sometimes you need to rest from your journey. So sometimes I say, how about this? How about we transition and get you into maintenance for just a little bit? You're still eating low glycemic. You're still eating 6 times a day, every 2 to 3 hours. You're getting your water in. You're living the lifestyle, right? Which is this low glycemic lifestyle. But sometimes you need a rest. If I have clients who have transitioned because they needed to rest, and then suddenly they're ready to go again and do those last 10, 15 pounds. It's your decision. And guess what? Even once you start transitioning, you're still going to be in 5-in-1 mode mentality, right? My clients are still losing weight in transition, you guys. Week 1, week 2, week 3, because their calorie deficit is still a deficit. So your body will still be moving in the direction of weight loss until we get you to maintenance. Okay. So now some of you have been looking at those last 5 to 10 pounds for a long time. So there's 2 things that happen as you're getting closer to your goal weight. Okay. A couple of things happen. 1, the needs of your body, the caloric needs of your body become less. All right. So I wrote some numbers down. All right. Me at the age of 43 at 265 pounds, actually it was 40, but I gave myself a couple years. At 5'7", I was sedentary. The amount of calories I needed just to maintain my weight was 2290, 2,290. Okay. If I ate that, I would maintain my weight at 265 pounds, sedentary, assuming I'm not doing anything, which I promise you at 265 pounds, I was doing nothing, which was part of the problem, right? Okay. At 44, at 170 pounds, my daily caloric needs were 1747. At 45, that's where I'm at now, 145 pounds, where I hover up and down, my daily caloric needs are about 1670. All right. So I want you to understand the 5-in-1, let's just stick with the 5-in-1, is about 1,000 calories a day. Now, some of you who haven't been on here before, don't freak out. Remember, there's been a misconception. It is not low calorie that causes starvation mode. It is malnutrition. When you don't get nutrition, you starve, right? So there's been a misconception in that. Our plan, nutrition dense. You get everything you need. You don't lose muscle mass. But when you're 2,000 calories, when you need 2290 and suddenly you go down to 1,000, getting all your nutrition, you're going to lose about 2.5 pounds a week, right? But when you're 145 pounds, your calorie deficit is only about 600 calories a day, which means you're only going to lose 1.2 pounds a week. That is normal. All right. That is a normal slowing of weight loss. Now, there's ways to get it back up to 2 pounds a week, which is just be active every day, but we'll talk about that later. Okay. So that's normal. I have some people say, oh, I'm starting to stall out. And I look and I'm like, you lost 1.5 pounds this week. You haven't stalled. That's normal. You only have 5 to 10 pounds left. Okay. But there is something called premature slowing of weight loss. And these are my clients who've been stuck at 10 pounds from their goal weight for 2, 3, 4 months. They just are stuck and they just can't seem to get there. And there's some things that cause that, right? One, you don't have a calorie deficit anymore, which means you're not on plan, right? You're not in. We are so good at lying to ourselves and lying to our coaches, and we don't even mean to. We're like, oh, I'm perfectly on plan. You guys, perfectly on plan from any of my clients has now become code. Anytime I hear perfectly on plan, those 3 words, it means you're not weighing or measuring your food across the board. Like I even like, oh, let's see your journal. You said the 3 words, right? Perfectly on plan. Okay. And so you may be eating something off plan, or like Chantel and I were talking before, you may be eating massive quantities of something on plan, right? You get 2 pickles for a healthy snack, not 2 jars of pickles. True story. Okay. So You decide to make the plan better. How are ways we try to make the plan better? Oh, well, if 5 fuelings are good, 4 must be better. No. Remember, low calorie, but full of nutrition. If you alter if you take one of the fuelings out, suddenly you're taking out some of the nutrition. And remember, if you don't get enough protein, your body will cannibalize your own. It will use yours up. And your muscle is the most metabolically active tissue in the body. So if it uses your muscle, guess what happens to your metabolism? Right? So don't make the plan better. It will slow your weight loss. And I love this, and this is something that I had considered until I actually read The Habits of Health, but Dr. A says, if things kind of stall out for you, try eating the vegetables that are just in the dark green section of your veggies. They are the lower glycemic, right? And that can shake things up. And then he says this, try eliminating your snacks and your condiments. Oh, not my condiments. Right? Some of my clients, like that's what I told them to do to get to goal. And they're like, please coach, please don't do that to me. Right? Hey, we don't have to do it. It's your goals, not mine. Right? How badly do you want this? When we get you to transition, girl, you can have these things again. Right? Okay, so these are the things that prematurely stop you from getting to your goal so that you can transition. So if you're in that demographic of, I've been stuck 5 pounds from goal for 2 months, I've been stuck 10 pounds from goal for 6 months, let's get serious. Do the plan. You can trust Dr. A. Cut out your snacks, cut out your condiments. All right? Just do the darn thing, right? Let's get you there because transition is so worth it. So, are you ready? Make the decision. Decide if your goal weight is the actual number you're going to transition or if you want to get a little bit below it. So, Chantel, I'm going to let you take over for just a second.
Yeah, so first of all, thank you so much, Cassandra. If you're watching the recording, I just realized I hadn't switched it to speaker view, so I apologize for that. But such good information. I was just trying to follow along in my life book, and on page 2, I think that's 69. It says premature slowing of weight loss. Man, I get that so many times from clients. Like, I feel like I've stalled, which by the way, I think technically a stall is not unless you're the same weight for like 21 days or 3 weeks. So, but reach up to your coach for that kind of stuff. But listen, at the end of the day, all of our questions are in the life book or in the Habits of Health book. And I think that we have this resource that we're not really seeing. And Cassandra, one of the things I love that you said was that there is hope of adding all the things we want back in later in moderation, but there is hope of that because so many times, like my clients will be like, I mean, I'm in South Louisiana, so like they want all the stuff, right? And so, and I know wherever you're at, it's the same. People, we like food, and so I'll say this: it's not no forever; it's just no for now, and then forever it's in moderation, right? And we have to make those choices. But I love that the system it's just not a weight loss system we have here, it's a lifelong transformation system, and you guys should be excited. And for all of you that are in phase 1 looking forward to phase 2 and the transition part, just know that there is hope to not have to gain this weight back. Now, what we can't do though is go back to the old mindsets. We have to, as we're losing weight, change the mindsets. That's why it's so good to follow along. But I love that, and I even know that what's coming next too about how to even speed up the weight loss. And I think, Cassandra, you were saying like, the closer you got to your goal weight, the slower your weight loss became, just because you didn't need as many calories just to maintain, but you could actually start adding in motion. Will you just touch on that 1 minute? Because I love that. So what that means is like people's like, I hear my clients say, well, gosh, when I get closer to my goal weight, it feels like if those last 5 pounds are so hard to lose. Will you just touch on that real quick? Because I think that's so important.
Yes, and I'm definitely going to go over it. And when we go over the TEE here in a second. But look, guys, I'll just give you my example. So when I really decided to transition for real this time using Dr. A system, not my way, not the Cassandra way of transitioning, right? I decided that I was just going to do it the way he said it, but I also decided that I was going to do what he suggests, is making activity just an everyday part of my life, not something hard, not running. I just went for a walk, so slow, you guys, because I was answering texts to my clients. I just got activity in. And I will tell you this is what I learned. All right. When I am sedentary at my current goal weight, my daily caloric needs are about 1,600 calories, 16 to 17. It varies, right? About 16 to 1,700 calories. When I walk so slow for 30 to 45 minutes in the morning, do you know that my daily caloric intake is my total energy expenditure is about 2,100 calories, almost what it was when I was 265 pounds. And what is that? That's 400, that's anywhere from 400 to 600 extra calories that I expend a day. Y'all, I did not expend those calories in that 30 to 40 very slow walk. Do you know what happens if you put motion in the beginning of your day? Is that, yes, you expend those calories in that moment that you're doing it, in that 30 to 45 minute moment, but your metabolism has sped up for the rest of the day and you expend more calories for the rest of the day. It's like it revs your engine and then you take off, right? So that's the difference. So when I would just walk so slow, and I'd get my steps up to about 10 to 11,000. Just walking every morning got my daily steps to about 10 to 11 to 13,000 a day. I was expending about 2,100 calories. It got my daily caloric deficit, how much I was in deficit, about 1,000 calories a day, which meant 7,000 calories a week, which is 2 pounds a week. All right. So just on my own, doing nothing, I was about 1.5, 1.2 pounds a week. Just walking got my weight loss up to 2 and sometimes more than that pounds a week. Okay. And we'll talk more about that in just a second when we talk about total energy expenditure. But, in the beginning of section 2.8 of your habits of health, that's kind of the companion section that goes with transition. And there's a lot of information there that bleeds over into some other elements. But 2.8 of your habits of health is your transition to permanent health. Okay. And there's a couple things that Dr. A says about keys to maintaining weight. And one, he uses an acronym called B-SLIM. And I'm not going to go over this a lot very quickly, but B-SLIM is an acronym. And these are just what he says in his words as just key areas to focus that will help you maintain a solid weight, right? What you want. Understand and focus on key behaviors to maintaining a healthy weight. B, breakfast. And he says it can be a fueling or whole food, right? E, exercise. You saw what I just explained happens to your total energy needs just by exercising a small bit in the morning, right? But exercise also makes you more insulin sensitive. It's almost like a shot of metformin. And if you are diabetic, metformin makes your body more insulin sensitive. And if you haven't watched where we were talking about the role of insulin in this, but this is the thing, when your body is more insulin sensitive, it is more efficient. You don't have a lot of insulin swimming in your system, trying to look where to deposit the sugar, which by the way is your storage, which is where you keep your fat. So it actually makes you more insulin sensitive to exercise every day. S is support, your coach, your community. When you isolate yourself, you guys, that's the beginning of the end in every area of your life. Support gives you accountability and shines light on the places we would rather keep hidden. And L, low glycemic lifestyle. Like I said, y'all, this is forever. All right. That's why 5-in-1 prison doesn't work. And I'm going to say that again in a minute. 5-in-1 prison doesn't work because what happens? You're low glycemic during the week. You party on the weekends with those high glycemic stuff. And like Chantel said, there's things that are no for not now, Not now, not no forever, just no for not now. Y'all know what I'm trying to say, right? But then there are things that Dr. A puts in this bright red category, and he literally uses the word toxic. There are some things that should be no forever. Because what happens is when you play with addictive foods, one day you wake up and you're addicted. That's in every area of your life. If you flirt with addictive things, you're going to wake up one morning. How did I get to this place again? I'm addicted again. Whether that's drugs, all the illicit stuff, the stuff we don't want to talk about in coffee with clients. If you flirt with it, you're going to wake up and find yourself addicted again. Plus, we know those toxic things shoot up your blood sugar, and it causes that cascade with insulin all over again. So that's what we don't want. We don't want party on the weekends, business during the week. Okay. So low glycemic forever. And then individual plan. This transition, we're going to individualize. It's going to make it individual for all y'all. All right. And then monitor. I'm going to tell you what I tell my clients. The moment you start missing weigh-ins, it's the beginning of the end for you because you're hiding. I'm a believer, so I'm just going to put this out there. What you hide from leads to shame. I've heard this. What you reveal leads to freedom. Okay. The enemy wants you to be ashamed and hide. He doesn't want you to step into the light. Weighing in is simply stepping into the light. Okay. And the light will set you free. So my clients who begin missing weigh-ins, they are on the first curve of the spiral. All right. I have clients who have been on pause for over a year and they weigh in every weigh day and maybe they've gone up and down 2 pounds. I just had some clients start back with me who I begged not to stop weighing in, and they have to start all over from the very beginning. It's heartbreaking, but I'm glad they're starting back, right? So be slim. All right. Those things right there, they will keep you on track. Okay. We know we don't like to weigh in if there's been a bad day, but it rips the Band-Aid off, throws the shame. Enemy can't accuse us with that number anymore because we've moved on. Right now, Dr. A says there are 2 main keys to weight management. One is something called energy balance, and one is called, I'm going to do this one first, proper motivation. Okay, now, many people go on a diet with the sole purpose of losing weight, just getting the pounds off. And once they get the pounds off, they say, oh, I'm done. Right? Not us, baby. We got 4 phases, right? Getting the pounds off is just the beginning. We've got healthy weight, optimization, longevity. Okay. So this is the thing. They're glad that the diet is over because they have been restricting themselves so badly that they're ready to get back to their old way of life. Now, I'm going to just kind of break it to you. Like I said, there is no old way of life for you guys to get back to. You burn that bridge. All right. The days of getting to have your old foods. I had one client and we couldn't shift the mindset. And she just said, I just want real food. I just need real food. I've been on this for so long. Guys, she'd lost 100 pounds, but she wanted real food. And I'm like, we're going to get you real food, tons of real food. No, but I want real food. Took some digging. Y'all, she wanted her hamburgers and French fries and her lasagna and her ice cream and her pizza. She never made the shift. And she's gained all her weight back, right? So, our plan is just the healthy weight is a first step. So this is the thing. Your underlying motivation is your fundamental choice. I tell my clients all along, and you may have to go back to the first 5 elements and review this if you aren't there, like if you're losing motivation. But you guys, you got to remember your why can't be the why to maintain, to get your weight off and to continue maintaining that weight can't be, I just want to feel better. Why? Y'all, you're going to feel better on day 4. If that's your motivation, we're in trouble, right? It has to be something that is powerful. We call it the why that makes you cry because it is that powerful to you. Do you want to see your grandbabies? Do you want to walk your daughter down the aisle? Are you tired of hating yourself? Y'all, like, it has to be powerful or it's not sustainable. If you're not there, like if you've done all the things, but you still have a shaky why, it's not going to carry you through transition and maintenance because you're going to think you arrived and you don't arrive. I'm sorry to break that to you. You don't arrive. We have new heights, but there's no arriving because there's always going to be that next thing that you're going to transform about yourself. All right. So you got to have proper motivation. Now we're going to talk about something called energy balance. It sounds a little scary, but it's not. All right. Now, we know, and what we have learned so far is that energy balance has to do with how much food and the quality of food, right? Remember, we're moving towards whole foods, low glycemic. We've worked on portion control, eating every 2 to 3 hours. So quality and quantity of food, okay? So there is a complex system, something called body set weight. Have some of you guys noticed that your body kind of just wants to gravitate towards a certain weight? Like, I remember when I was striving to get to a healthy weight, my stepmother actually said to me, you know what? I don't think you're going to be able to get past 180. That hurt my feelings a little bit, y'all, I gotta admit. But what she meant was that is the weight that I always seem to land at. And I even at my lowest, I couldn't get past 180. She wasn't wrong. My body had something called a body set weight, which is kind of where my body was, a system had kind of come to this place where that is where my plateau was. That's where my body wanted to stay at. But you can reset your body set weight. Some of you who are in maintenance realize like you are in a roll. Some of you, every time you weigh in, it's 120, 120, 120, 120, 120.1. Whoop, what happened there? Like it is always the same. I have some clients, it's always within a half pound of, they just stay there. Their body has set that weight. All right. How does that happen? Because that's what we're going for. We want to set your body weight at that level. Okay. So there are a couple things, and I don't know if you remember, but there was an important hormone that we talked about a couple weeks ago called insulin. Insulin is a hormone that regulates your blood sugar and helps regulate your hunger. It regulates your body, your cholesterol, all these things, right? Well, your body has a complex system. It's kind of like a command control center that actually can regulate your weight to keep it at a certain weight. And it's called this body set weight, right? And so there's some really cool things that happen. There are, obviously, we've talked about insulin a little bit. There's something called ghrelin, Ghrelin. When your stomach stretches, this gland in your stomach releases this hormone. When your stomach empties, this gland releases ghrelin that says, I'm hungry. So then you eat. Whenever your stomach expands, it turns that gland off and that hormone is no longer released. That is a really cool tool by your body. Okay. There's another very important hormone called leptin. Okay. Now this is one of the two, insulin and leptin. They work together to set our body set weight. Okay. Now let me just read this definition of leptin to you because I couldn't find a good solid definition, and I am all about solid definitions. All right. So leptin, let me find my notes here. Leptin is a hormone your adipose tissue, your fat tissue, your fat cells release that helps maintain your normal weight on a long-term basis. Leptin, Leptin. The level of leptin in blood is directly related to how much body fat you have. All right. Leptin helps prevent hunger and regulate energy balance so your body doesn't trigger hunger response when it doesn't need energy. So in other words, the more fat you have, now some of you are going to be like, that's crazy because I've got a lot of fat and this doesn't happen to me. But just listen, just bear with me. Your fat cells release leptin. And what they do is they reduce hunger and they actually increase energy. All right. So it makes you want to eat less. So before I go on, let me just show you this little, I'm going to show you a graphic to explain this really quick. All right. Okay. Chantel, nod if you see it. All right, you guys. So let's start at the top of this, right? You got fat, you've got weight gain right here. It increases your leptin. Leptin goes and creates a decreased appetite. And you have more energy, so you move more, which causes you to eat less and increase your energy expenditure. And it lowers your insulin. Now, if you remember what happens with lower insulin, when your insulin levels are low, your blood sugars are balanced, you're not hungry, you have tons of energy, you become a fat burning machine rather than a fat storage machine, all right? You have weight loss. So whenever you have less fat, your leptin decreases, which can cause an increase in appetite. And actually energy levels can go down a little bit. And you guys are like, well, what's the point, right? But listen, you move less, you eat more high glycemic carbs and calories, which raises your insulin level, which leads to weight gain. So when you go into this vicious circle, see this arrow, this red arrow, it actually increases your body set weight. In other words, some of us are stuck at a weight because we go through this side over here where it lowers our insulin, we lose weight, our decrease in leptin happens. So when we do eat more because our appetite has increased, what do we go to? High glycemic carbs. All right. Now, I'm going to show you this. This is how you can reset your body set weight so that it's lower, okay? So you have weight to lose and your leptin levels increase right here. It decreases your appetite, making you want to eat less. So you eat less, but what you choose to eat when you do eat is low glycemic, low calorie. You increase your activity, you get quality of sleep and relaxation, and that moves to increase leptin. But what happens if you're in the 5-in-1 prison, right? You lose weight, you're in your 5-in-1. And then when you do eat on the weekends, you go to high glycemic, high calorie, sedentary, poor sleep and stress. It causes your insulin to go up. And we know what happens with that because we were here a couple of weeks ago, right? And you gain weight. So this becomes your body set weight up here. All right. That's why the 5-in-1 prison doesn't work. That is why when we're doing great on 5-in-1, but then we choose to go back to that high glycemic lifestyle, even if for one day it shoots our insulin up and it messes up the weight that our body would naturally gravitate towards at a lower weight. Suddenly, what we're set at is higher. Okay. Now I'm going to show you this one. All right. So this is the vicious cycle that we get in. We gain weight, increase in leptin, increase in appetite, eat more, high insulin. Now, you guys, there's something that happens when you chronically have high levels of fat and high levels of leptin. Something happens called leptin resistance. You've heard of insulin resistance, leptin resistance. So the signals to cause the lower hunger and the higher energy become ineffective. See what it says right here? Increasing leptin resistance signals the brain, and the signals become ineffective. So you've messed up the whole command control center to have a set body weight that is lower, right? Let me stop sharing the screen here. Okay. Was that as clear as mud? I hope not. Okay. Look, the whole point is you need two things, right? Leptin and insulin working together. And your body will naturally do that unless you go back to that high glycemic lifestyle. That is kind of the moral to this story. Your body was designed to actually settle at a healthy weight. If you can control your keep a low glycemic lifestyle, eat every 2 to 3 hours, turn off your insulin pump, and let your leptin and your ghrelin and your insulin do what it was designed to do.
Are you excited about next week? We're going to dive into the rest of this element. So be on next week with us. We are so excited and honored to be able to host this and teach this. Guys, have a great week. Have a great weekend. Let's not get that insulin pump up this weekend. Let's just stay true to whatever phase we're in. Let's just stay on that. Text your coach. Hey, here's a challenge. Text your coach right now and let your coach know what your goal is this weekend. If your goal is to stay on plan and be a weekend warrior, text your coach that. Actually put it out there. Put hashtag weekend warrior everywhere in your social media for extra accountability. If your plan is to be in maintenance and to transition right this weekend and like not go off and go crazy, whatever it is, because extra accountability helps. So the challenge for this week is to let your coach know what it is for this weekend that you need from them so that your coach can do their job and be a coach. Guys, have a great weekend. Cassandra, thank you so much. Pat and Karen, we love you. We honor you. Thank you. See you all next Friday.